All right, I think we're back. Like I said, Wi-Fi issues. Yeah, I'm just gonna resume as normal. Sorry for that. If it happens again, that's probably gonna be it though. I'm not gonna keep doing it every 10 minutes. Thank you for doing at everyone in the chat the month. Very thoughtful. So let's get back to it. I already talked about crypto, other markets, and the SPY and the Qs. If you want to hear about that, it's in the part 1 of the stream. That's already on my channel. Video's already up. Now I'm going to move on to the ARK ETF, then the Russell 2000, and then we're going to spend the rest of the stream looking at individual names, and then we're going to do ticker requests. All right, so let's get started with the ARK. As I was saying, you are breaking out of this downsloping channel you've been in. 200-day moving average is next up pretty much, and today it did actually close with a bullish engulfing candle, so not bad at all. I haven't looked at this 4-hour chart in a very long time, so let me kind of redraw this out. But as you can see, the same wedge I was drawing out on daily, you just broke out of that on the 4-hour time frame. You also got these two lows like right over here, pretty good. Yeah, level by level was pretty simple here. Very clear levels on this chart for the most part. You've got that 35 support, then you've got 38.46. You can see these highs over here. Then you've got 41-ish. I mean, you've got this high over here. Even these two highs could be resistance. And then all the way up 45, that's the biggest level. 45, 48. You know, that's really your breakout level. Yes, you broke above it one time to really just retest this low as a high, but breaking above that, you'd be well above this zone, out of that pattern. It would not be bad at all to do that. And then finally the Russell 2000, delete that for now. I don't know, it's tough. Let me see if I can clear this up a bit. Let me just remove that line because I've already got a zone there. And you know, if I'm gonna be honest, it's just weird because usually this and the ARK ETF don't look too different, but right now I'm kind of seeing this inverted cup and handle forming. So cracking under like 160 would probably drop you down to 163 to test these two lows, and then breaking under that on the weekly time frame, which to be honest looks very weird because you broke out channel and did nothing. Breaking under that on the weekly would be horrible. It would be very, very bad. That could be the end of a lot of small caps, which a lot of them have already ended. But yeah, you just gotta probably hope that that hidden bullish divergence on the weekly plays out. In terms of a pattern, I don't know. Maybe a descending triangle starting to form here on the weekly. So it's a little bit tough. I'm actually gonna extend this down right there. Got this descending triangle. That's your level that you would really want to see it hold. Let's move on to individual names right now. Title of the stream, Fisker and CLOV. I'm going to start with just the technicals. For Fisker, it is a swing. Actually, at the highs yesterday, it was up 13%. This was literally last week, so very nice initial move. Earnings kind of made it a little bit weird, a little bit funny, but it was testing a breakout literally yesterday at the close. And then today they got earnings. Dropped right down. This is a very interesting level it went down to test. Dropped right down to 560. Got the low from February 24th and the low from March 24th right over there. And this morning I woke up and I saw, oh wow, Fisker is down quite a bit on earnings. I don't see anything that's like super bad, which I don't know. There has been a lot of back and forth. I'm gonna get to that in a second, but I didn't see anything that was super bad. It was at that 5.6 level. I took calls right off of it, and I pretty much sold my calls like right here, where it pretty much closed at like 6.15. Later on, it did go all the way up to like 660 before pulling back. But like as you basically this green candle that you see right here, I played calls in like that exact move, like almost that exact move. I made about 50% profit. Probably would have made a lot more than that if the IV wasn't crazy because of earnings. But yeah, it basically, like, the technicals are still being respected regardless of the earnings and stuff. Like you can see, it went down, bounced off 560. Good. And then when it went up, where did it go to? It went right up to that 650 line, and also the trend line of this wedge. If we zoom out, you can see 650. You talking about the $6 rejection in the chat lump. It's a very big level. You can see that major support there. You've now tested as resistance on 4 different days, so it's a very tight range here. Like I've already had this range drawn out from the past, and you can see even in the short term it's respecting it. That's how important this range is. But this whole entire range here is key. Breaking above it, bullish. Breaking under it, bearish. All right, that's why the stop is there. Stop is basically just right under that gap fill. and then the first target's right under the 200-day moving average. So you're dead in the middle of that range technicals wise. If you go over to the 4-hour chart again, there just isn't much to talk about. I did also, another reason I did decide to take calls was not only that 5-6 level, but I also did draw out this trend line over here. And that's why I took calls around the open. So I don't know, mixed variables. You've got classic bullish divergence on the daily, classic bearish divergence on the 4-hour on both oscillators. If we get onto the 1-hour time frame, trying to see if there's a better way to draw this pattern out. One thing I will say is I do like the higher lows from this low to this one to this one. Higher lows, equal highs, ascending triangle psychology. Again, you've got that trend line. I can draw it out right over here, something like that. So it's all about holding that trend line, holding above 560, and hoping to break above 650. In terms of the report today, why did that disappear? 1 second. Let me pull it up. Here we go. So there has been, let me go over to the other overlay now. There has been back and forth. I think someone from, I haven't paid too much attention. The past few days have been very crazy. I haven't had a lot of time to pay attention to a lot of things going on. But yeah. See, you can see where I'm at right now. Like between like moving and my 21st, it's just been crazy. But someone I think from Bloomberg, I'm not super caught up with it, was saying something about Fisker not being ready to deliver their cars on time because of software issues. And then there was something else about their first car that they delivered in Denmark, and it looks like Germany. Something about them not actually being delivered and heading back to the factory was reported. And then I think Henrik's been on his Instagram. Let me see if I could actually pull this up. Is it just Henrik Fisker? Henrik's basically been denying it on his Instagram. I don't know denying what specifically, but we can take a look here. All right. So this is his Instagram, and let me just check something before I click on that. I can't actually click on the post. Okay, great. But let me see if I can read you the captions off my phone. This is what he said 7 hours ago. Another Bloomberg fake news. No Fisker customer car is on the way back to Graz. The car is still in Germany. First customer car in Denmark is still in Denmark. Sad that other news outlets reprint Bloomberg lies. They unfortunately trust Bloomberg, even though they can't be trusted. Another blatant lie from Sean O'Kane. I don't know if there's another one, but there was that. Also today, they did, let me see if it's in this. Let's see here. You could probably pull up their Twitter though. They also did announce the Force E package, basically their off-road version of the Fisker Ocean. Let's see if I can find it here. There we go. Which looks something like this. All right. So I think it looks pretty cool, but at the same time, you know, the wheels are really cool. I think that looks also different. The front, I don't know if it's actually going to come with this on the side. But yeah, ready to shake up the off-road segment. The off-road edition will come with substantial ground clearance, ramp angles, 33-inch all-terrain tires on 20-inch reinforced wheels, specialized dampers, plus an estimated 550 horsepower delivers expected at the end of this year. So there was that. Apart from that, let me look for any other key points. They also did open up, I saw it on, it's like Fisker Germany or something. They opened up their I think their first experience center, which is really cool. So they have their showrooms now, flagship lounge. They're really doing a lot in Europe right now. I think it's a pretty good launch, and then hopefully later this year in North America. I think they're just waiting on some approval, like how they just got in Europe. And you saw the stock go crazy after the Europe approval. So I can't even imagine what could potentially happen if/when you get the North America approval. But at the same time, I feel like it is just to be expected though. So I don't know if it will be priced in, but Fisker expects to receive EPA and CARB, I don't know if that's just pronounced CARB, approvals later this month and start US deliveries in June. So that's in the earnings report. End the quarter with a solid cash and cash equivalents balance of $650 million. That number has come down. It was around $1 billion when they were a SPAC. They are in their most hyper spending period of their company, probably. They're launching their first two cars, the Fisker and not the Fisker, the Ocean and the Pear at the same time. You know, I don't think they accounted for what the economy would be like, because who knew what it was going to be like back when all of this started. But we will see. Fisker plans to produce 1,400 to 1,700 vehicles in the second quarter of this year, provided all partners deliver, and to ramp that up in Q3 with approximately 6,000 vehicles for the rest of the year. Forecast 32 to 36K units produced in 2023. I know Lucid has had a lot of issues with keeping their word on production numbers, so we will see. I'm not going to read all of this, but the Fisker Ocean Extreme achieved the combined WTLP range of about 440 UK miles with 20-inch wheels and tires equipped, exceeding previous estimates. That's really good in my opinion. It has the longest, that's sick. I don't know, that just sounds so cool. It has the longest range of any EV SUV sold in Europe. I don't know this for sure. Let me just make sure. I'm sure they are, but they have to be. Are Teslas sold in Europe? Let me just make sure so I don't say this in the wrong way. Yeah, they are. So I don't know what you want me to say. So they also got Deft Power named as their European, a lot of Europe stuff, which is great. Global, cool, as their European public charging platform provider. That also combines with ChargePoint's network in North America. Little typo right there, need a space right there. Provides Ocean customers to over 600K charging ports. This was also some recent news. They got Ample to be their battery swappable, or partner with Ample to deliver swappable batteries. It'll bring a new level of affordability to the Fisker Ocean. Reservations and orders approximated 65,000 as of May 8th. I just did a report. I put it out on my Twitter and in the announcements channel of the Discord. I think if you convert the reservations to Oceans, that's like almost $3 billion in potential revenue, and that's only at the starter price, the 37.5. It's not the higher versions of the car. So yeah, pretty cool. Apart from that, some financials here. Net loss totaled about $120 million, 38-cent loss per share. Net cash used in operating activities was about $83 million. Capital expenditures, $45 million. Here are the rest of their expenses, and there is your earnings for Fisker. Let's move over to CLOV now. Chart first and earnings after. So we talked about this on, I think, my last stream, which was last Thursday, this breakout. It's played out very nicely. Not Fisker, CLOV went to like a high of over $1 today, which was pretty cool. Hopefully they can get back above it and hold it, but nonetheless, a very nice move off the lows, up about 30% running into earnings. I think 86 is the biggest level. All right, you could see these major lows over here, kind of support here, resistance over here. 86 cents is the level that I would like to see CLOV hold. The classic bullish divergence and the channel is actually playing out. One of the first times in months that a pattern is actually clearly playing out on the daily, which is pretty cool to see. Of course, unfortunately, it did give back a lot of these gains after hours, even though it initially went higher. It ended up dropping down to about 87 cents. Again, that level I just talked about on the daily is 86 cents. So if we include the after hours price action onto this chart, you can see that it went all the way up to like 106, and now it's come back down to retest this very key zone. Break under this zone, probably back down, retest all-time lows. Hold this zone and bounce off of it, probably will retest 106, your highs from today, and then also these lows from the end of February. So pretty clear, simple technicals, just level by level. I have not looked at the earnings report at all, so we can do that right now. And yeah, I'm gonna take requests in a little bit. So if you have any takers you want me to look at, drop them in the chat. I'm still going to look at some other charts before I do them. But if you have any take requests, feel free to drop them in the chat right now. All right, for the first quarter in this year, the company reported $500 million. All the numbers I'm saying are roughly. I'm just trying to read it quick. $500 million and a loss of $72 million compared to first quarter of last year. Insurance revenue grew by 14% to about $317 million. MCR, which I think is medical cost ratio, improved to 86.6% from 96.4%. As planned, non-insurance revenue declined 65% to about $200 million.
Did you have fun today?
So looking at the sheet,
What did you do?
revenue has gone down a few $100 million. Insurance revenue has gone up. Oh, I read that wrong. I read that correctly, but I remembered it incorrectly. I was just like, wait, insurance revenue went up? I thought they said it went down. Insurance revenue went up. Non-insurance revenues went down is what went down. Insurance MCR 96.4%, 86.6%. Salaries and administrative expenses pretty much the same. So yeah, I'm not seeing like a whole lot that's super important over there. Those are very straightforward things. Insurance members, these are lives under Clover, is also about the same for insurance members. For non-insurance members, it's much lower, of course. So I don't see anything that's that crazy here. Let's just see what they had to say. Andrew Toy, the new CEO. Well, it's not new, but no longer. I think it was Vivek originally. We were off to a fantastic start, and I am particularly proud of our continued insurance revenue growth and significantly improved MCR. Clover Assistant continues to drive value across our entire organization. During the first quarter, our insurance segment delivered meaningful revenue growth while improving its MCR. I think this is a very straightforward report. I don't see anything that is something to really spend time talking about. Looking at this report, I think they're trying their best. Unfortunately, their best was not enough over the past couple of years, but they're trying to hang on. They're really, this is one of the most straightforward earnings that I've seen out of Clover, especially. So yeah, chart straightforward, earnings straightforward. I don't know. I think maybe lowering that MCR and then insurance members revenue going up, I think that probably led to that initial spike, and then maybe people start to just do the same thing I did, and they were like, yes, but it's kind of like the same thing. I think this is a very expected earnings. Nothing, and unfortunately for a company that's been doing as poorly as them in terms of stock price, you need something to like wow investors, in my opinion, which this just isn't it. But it's not that either. So it's just, I think when your stock's doing as worse as CLOV's been doing, you need something great to kind of revive it. And this is good, but not great. I think that's like the simplest way to look at it. So let's head back over to the charts, see what else there is to talk about. And there's your Fisker and CLOV earnings. The rest of the swings, we'll start off with that AI. Honestly, I'm marking the screen on the sheet. AI is pretty much, I mean, look, first target was 2014, high day was 2011. AI has hit the first target of the swing, so very good. About a 10% gain, pretty much what it's doing right now. And this is why this is the first target. It is testing this previous range support as a resistance. All right, so let me actually ping this in the Discord. Again, this was a free swing alerted to everybody. If you're in the stream right now, go put some emojis on this. In the Swing Updates channel. Alright, so very straightforward make or break area. We'll see what happens. Space, I think, also just reported earnings down a couple percent. After hours, nothing too crazy. This also pretty much got up to the first target yesterday, about 30% profit since the alert. And that was, you know, maybe that target could have been like the textbook target could have been a little bit lower, but I don't know, that's just where it topped. I don't see anything major there. So at this point, it's more of a 50-50 short term for that one. GM, it's trying. You know, it actually somehow did bounce off of 32. Oh, it's got the classic bullish divergence. Pretty nice there. Both oscillators, actually. And, I mean, honestly, I'm going to delete my original view because we just know that that 32 support is what's really big. And now this is starting to look very different. I have a whole new look on the swing at this point. You've got a wedge breakout test, another bounce off support, and divergence. Also a little bit of a double bottom there. That is very interesting. You even might have, let me try and like perfect this trend line. You've got a breakout and a back test. You back tested today. So very interesting technicals right there. Of course, the Celsius swing, beautiful, pretty much at the second target, up 20% since the alert here. Very, very good for the swings lately, despite the sideways market. Amazon, it's up a few percent. It's just testing the 200-day moving average, as you can see there. Breaking above that's very big. 4 hour kind of looks the same as well. I'm not seeing anything too different. If anything, I'm going to delete all of this on the 4 hour. And it's just a massive triangle pattern. That's really it. So you just got a massive triangle on Amazon on your 4 hour chart. All right, so that is it for the swings. We do have a couple of chat requests, starting off with today 32. QQQ bearish bat forming on the daily from August highs. Yes, good job. I don't know if anybody else shared on Discord. That's something I actually haven't even noticed. So yeah, you're also at a bearish bat PCC in this wedge. And honestly, I'm not going to count it because it's like literally one little, I don't even know if you can see it on your screen. It's one little green bar. But if we were to develop a little bit more of a green island here, you'd have triple classic bullish divergence too. So we will see. Then let's look Kaleidoscope. We got CRM, Trader Joe, not Trader Joe's. Let's look at PayPal, Rockstar, Airbnb. I think it had earnings recently. Square. Okay. So CRM, Salesforce, hidden bullish divergence. Even though it's a very small, that's like literally one red bar. You got on the RSI though. Very short term. This is an ascending triangle breakout as of today. So you just got an ascending triangle breakout, the bullish engulfing candle, and the highest volume I think since about beginning of last month on the daily. Very good short term, and very good doesn't mean it's going to keep going up for sure, but that's a very textbook setup. Even 192 previous resistance flipped into a support. Holding above that zone is very key. So it's breaking out, and look at that zone's historical, just perfect, just perfect. This is a breakout test for CRM. Let me see what the exact gap fill is. Right around 208.6 is your gap fill, and even as a previous support. The levels on this chart are very nice. Those are your next levels. There you go. PayPal, rough earnings. Sell-off, breaking under this zone, that's not good. It's a falling knife for right now. I don't know what the news is. You know, sometimes you get an initial reaction to an earnings that flips around the next day, but for right now, these are your lowest prices on PayPal with literally no support until $41. From a technical standpoint, that is a breakdown, not a breakout. Pretty much the opposite of the Salesforce chart. Instead of a breakout, on this one you're getting a breakdown. But of course, look at what happened with the news. There could be a different interpretation to that. Airbnb is testing the top of this range as of the close. However, after hours it fell 12%, so didn't really get the breakout, unfortunately. At this point, let me put this on the 4 hour chart. Let's see. At this point, 108.5 is your level that you would like to hold. So this is your little support and resistance for the 4 hour. Just see which one it breaks first. And then Square. I'm gonna redraw this. it is quite literally at the apex of this triangle. So it's about to break out or break down in the next 3 days, pretty much. And that's it. Just see which way it starts to show volume and trends towards, breaks up, then you got 68, 200 moving average, and then after that a gap fill and a previous resistance at 72.60, breaks down, you've got support at 52. Palantir. This is actually, I think, on the watch list I sent in premium today. It's testing the supply line or the trend line of this falling wedge it's been in. Very nice move after earnings. I think holding above 890 is huge. Look at this like lows from its IPO. Look at these highs from November of last year, high from February of this year, high from April of this year. You just broke above all of that just from today. Holding above that's very important. Basically what you want to do is get above that white line before falling under that orange line. And if you fall under the orange line, then your gap fill in the 200 moving average are around $8. If you break out, those two highs are clearly your next two levels. You've also got a little bit of a gap fill right over there. Huge day though. And yeah, Meta is forming a flag. That is something I have been watching. Unfortunately, we're going to have to put your request to the side, Seek, okay? Because we did get a little bit of a tip. Thank you very much, the guy. I appreciate it. Tip vibes have been pretty low lately, so I do appreciate it. I know I said like 4 times. So we are going to be taking a look at CLNWLD wrapped ETH 2D3308. This is honestly something I would never look at unless I was paid to look at it. Which, alright, that's a joke obviously, but the way I just said it sounds horrible. That sounds really scammy and horrible. I was saying that because I got tipped on the stream to look at this chart. I'm not saying I would get paid to say anything about any stocks that is illegal. That's something I would never do. I was trying to make a joke that I worded incorrectly. Let me just clear the air on that. But even though I was paid to look at it, I will say that this chart looks horrible and it looks like a scam. So yeah, we're going to do BS for fun technical analysis on this. This is not usually technical analysis I do. It is unfortunate that I have to use all these disclaimers every time I talk on my stream now, because there are a lot of bad actors in this space who do bad things. But everything I'm about to say is for humor. All right, and this is my chart review on CLOVD to wrapped ether. So we've got this right over here. We've got this right over here. We've got this right over here. Those are some levels. And this is actually what we call the chair pattern. Let's see. This is one of the oldest patterns in the textbooks, talked about by like all of the legends. Let's see. Let's see if I can find like this chart. Trying to find the exact chart for this actually. They don't even put these in the new TA textbooks because of how rare it is. Okay, I found it. So this is actually the chair pattern. As you can see. It's pretty much like that. Okay. So once you have the chair pattern and you come down to like the leg of the chair, you're basically touching the floor, but under the floor, you actually have the basement. So then you go into the basement, and then in the basement, the final part of the pattern is you have, and this actually is kind of ironic looking at the name of the asset, you actually have the clown. But once you get the clown, look at how it reacts to that level and then take it from there. Even though that is negative 0.0. Thank you for this TED Talk and for the tip. The guy says chair patterns are weak if there's a rug underneath. Oh, I did forget about that. Yeah, that was actually in volume 2 of trading chair patterns into basements. I forgot about that part of the book. All right. So I think that's a great way to end the stream. I would like to reiterate that I messed up my wording on talking about getting paid to look at things. It was a joke. And I thank you for you somehow watching the last 5 minutes of whatever I just did. If you're not in the Discord, make sure you join that. The link for that's in the description. It is free to join. The technical analysis is usually much better than what I just did. And if you're not subscribed to the stream, shout out to Aries for the subscription. Make sure you subscribe. Oh, I'm sorry, Zeke. I'm sorry, I forgot. We're gonna look at Meta before I go. That distracted me. Yeah, let's go over to the 15-minute chart on Meta. Oh, it actually did a breakout. Oh, it actually did break out. I didn't even see that today. It had this 15-minute wedge. It broke out of it. It looks like on the breakout, it pretty much went up to this level, which was these lows, and then this high tested that. Now it's pulled back. So at this point, might even actually start to develop into a bear flag, unfortunately. Like that. So this is probably now, you've also got classic bearish divergence on the 15. So yeah, at this point, it actually went from bullish to bearish on the 15-minute, unless it breaks above that 235.58 level. On higher time frames, it tapped the bottom of that zone at 244.5, which if we zoom out, you can see are some major lows from the end of 2020 and the beginning of 2021. If it breaks above that, then you got a pretty wide open range up to like almost $300. But under that, unless this turns into like a larger flag, which we can look at in a second, under that you've also got 224.4, which is this high over here, and then under that as well you've got a gap fill. I think that was an earnings gap up. Yes, it was at around 214. One thing I do want to do though, however, is take a different look at this, right? Let's draw a new trend line on the 1 hour chart, and let's just connect it to this. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 touches. Even though the original wedge, which looked like that, kind of played out and turned into a bear flag, this could still, and this is the thing when you get like a 15-minute wedge, then it could turn into a 1 hour wedge, then a 4 hour wedge, then in 2 weeks we could be talking about a daily wedge, something like that. Maybe if it drops down to that support level. So just because the wedge on the 15 minutes over doesn't mean it can't wedge on other time frames. So that is something to keep in mind for sure. And yeah, oh, what I did forget to do is go through some of the names on my watch list. We can actually do that, even though it's about 10 in the stream. Let's start off with NVIDIA. It's still in this upsloping channel. I have redrawn this a bunch of times. Right now it is testing. It broke out of this range it was in. Now it's testing around 290-ish, which is your highs from March 25th, lows from March 25th of last year, lows from November 2021. If that breaks, there's pretty much nothing till all-time highs, which is crazy. This actually was a swing I alerted almost at the bottom. Final target was about halfway back up. It just kept ripping, however. So that is pretty interesting. Apple, let me redo this chart a little bit. I'm going to delete this wedge for right now. All right. Apple broke out of that trend line, so that's gone. And let me, you know what? We're going to start from fresh. How do I perceive Apple right now? First thing I'm going to do is draw out that trend line, and then the second thing I'm going to do is draw out that trend line. Apple may have just, on very high time frames, broken out of a 1.5 year long bull flag. Take a look at that. If this plays out textbook, 1, it could take some time, but 2, that could pretty much take Apple to all-time highs. Very impressive concerning what the stock market has done in the last year and what the economy is currently doing. Very impressive for Apple. Of course, you're not fully there yet. All of this is resistance. All that is resistance, so we will see. But very interesting. We've also got AMD. I mean, this one was silver platter on the stream. I mean, we looked at the last 2 times this happened. With the same hidden bullish divergence. Can you believe it that for the 3rd time in a row, a bull flag with hidden bullish divergence played out? Boom. There you go. $100 is pretty much the next level there for AMD. Very nice reversal. If we go over to the weekly time frame for AMD, look at that inverse head and shoulder setup. Here's your inverse head and shoulders on the weekly for AMD. So maybe it does play some catch up for NVIDIA if it can break out of that. Apart from that, AMC, not doing great. This actually could start to turn into, or is pretty much turning into a bear flag right now. So keep an eye on that. Lucid, I'm gonna extend this out, is in a falling wedge with classic bullish divergence. I don't know if there was earnings today or not. No. So yeah, it's Lucid's in a falling wedge with classic bullish divergence, holding above really just all-time lows at 6. It's interesting. This is something I'm gonna keep on my watch list. This is tradable. I'm not saying it's going to work for sure, but you have a decent reward to risk any of variables. Placing a stop under here, targeting that gap fill. Not telling anyone to do this. This could literally fail, but that gives you about almost 2 reward to risk. And then, there's a more conservative way to play it, which would be stop right under that low, which gives you about a 4 reward to risk. Or if you want to lower your target, you can get a 3 right over here at these highs, or at this high over here, 2.5. Roku, still in this triangle pattern. I did tweet this out yesterday. That's something else I'm keeping an eye on. Netflix, testing a breakout of this triangle it's been in for half a year, more than half a year actually. That is something interesting. Disney, trying to break above this little resistance level. It opens up a new range up to like 118 if it can hold. Coinbase in this wedge, testing a breakout, the 200-day moving average and the 60-63 resistance. If it breaks above that, historically it's straight up, straight down, pretty much back over here and over here up to like $68. So a lot of charts doing interesting things. Thank you for putting that in the chat. Oppenheimer trailer W or L, big W. Big W. I don't know how I can talk about this on the stream, and that's exactly how I want to end the stream tonight. Christopher Nolan might be the greatest director of all time. I mean, is director the right word? Should I use like filmmaker? We're talking about, he made the best movie of all time, which is Interstellar. I mean, there's no debate to that. He literally made the best movie of all time. But even apart from that, The Dark Knight, Tenet, I actually didn't really like Tenet. It was kind of confusing to me. But Dunkirk was great. Inception was great. The Dark Knight Rises. Anything else I know from here? I mean, just those movies alone are just goated. So I am very excited for Oppenheimer. Of course, the cast is huge. Robert Downey Jr., Matt Damon, Rami Malek. I remember him from Mr. Robot, and the GOAT, Mr. Peaky Blinders himself. Peaky Blinders is my favorite show of all time. Finally getting a lead role in a huge movie. He's been in other Christopher Nolan movies. I am excited for this. If none of you have watched Peaky Blinders, I don't know what you're doing. So we're talking about a GOAT filmmaker who, we're talking about my favorite TV, not my favorite actor. My favorite actor is Matthew McConaughey, but my favorite TV show actor with my favorite filmmaker who made Interstellar. And just on top of that, you've also got this cast. I mean, it's what Josh Peck is in this. Wow. You can't see it on the screen here. Can you see it now? No, you can't. Whatever. Josh Peck's in there too somehow. That's going to be very, very, very cool. I am going to be watching this multiple times. That is literally what I'm most excited for this whole entire year, probably, in terms of like something to watch. I hope I don't get copyrighted for this. I don't think I will, but let's watch the trailer.
We imagine a future. And our imaginings horrify us. They won't fear it until they understand it. And they won't understand it until they've used it. Theory will take you only so far.
Oh, I'm excited for this.
I don't know if we can be trusted with such a weapon. But we have no choice. Is anyone ever going to tell the truth about what's happening here?
July 21st. I am excited. I saw an extended trailer, so I don't know if that's something we could watch or not. That one was really good. I'm already getting a heads up. We've detected copyrighted audio and video in your stream. Your stream may be temporarily blocked. So it is what it is. If this stream gets taken down for all of you to see that masterpiece, then I'm happy. All right. So thank you for watching the stream. Make sure you watch this movie. We'll all talk about it in the Discord. If you want to talk to us about this movie in the Discord on July 21st, without spoiling anything for others, the link is in the description. Have a great night. Thank you for watching the stream, and peace out.